How's it going, guys? Right off the bat, I want to let you know, I think I have strep. I've been looking on WebMD for the past 2 hours, and it says some of the symptoms are not having a girlfriend, getting nervous around girls, girls laughing at you, and I don't think I have this last one, but it says a sore throat could be a telltale sign of having strep. But as I said, I'm only experiencing the first three. Anyways, enough about me. I want to go straight in and give you guys a quote of encouragement I found this last month.
Another day, another victory for the OG, taking down the sweats, the imposters among us.
I hope you guys liked that intro. I worked really hard on it. Took me about 5 minutes in total, actually. And so, yeah, now we can actually get into the purpose of the video. As many of you don't know, I'm making a game. That means so much. Thanks for asking. It's pretty cool, so try not to get blown away. The simple version is you spawn into a world and create a party. Then you trek through a dungeon with random armor, a weapon, and a special ability. And as you go through the dungeon, you fight bosses to get better weapons, armor, and abilities. Now, my favorite part about this game is the RNG aspect. No, bro, I didn't get the aura I wanted. Oh my gosh. Guess I have to just stay in here for the next 10 hours until I get something good. Each run will be different because bosses will either drop a weapon, a piece of armor, or an ability. And with that, I think it will allow for some pretty OP builds, but only if you get lucky. And if you're not so lucky, but you're a Giga Chad like me, you'll still beat the game. But that might be too much for some of you. Hey, I told you it would be cool. Now, speaking of being blown away, let me show you my UI skills. Isn't this cool? For those of you confused, this is an inventory system and is inspired from one of my favorite Roblox games, Voxel Blade. And as I'm sure I don't need to point out, I'm not very good at UI design, but I came to the realization this month that it's just a prototype and it doesn't actually need to look good, it just needs to work. I took that very literally and started to focus on programming the UI and working on the back end rather than the front end, because it's what's on the inside that matters, right, guys? I don't even know where to go from that, so I'm just gonna read off of my script. Don't worry, I won't bore you with the programming lingo yet. And that's called foreshadowing, guys. My priority this month has been about fixing previous mistakes, which is why this video isn't very long. A lot of what I'm showcasing here has been already created, but you guys didn't know that there was issues with it, so editing magic. Now, there are three main players that I tackled this month. Numero uno is the way that the player dashes. Last month, or previously, whatever, I used something called a tween service to create the player dash, but using a tween brings up some issues. The main issue being lag. So, how do we fix this? We use something called a body mover, specifically a linear force, which will move the player in any direction I want at any speed that I want. And again, I won't bore you with the programming details, but here are the basics. The player clicks a button, the script applies a force in the direction the player is moving, and ta-da, you have a dash system. The next problem that I found was hitboxes.
Dude! Stop doing full force!
Before this month, I used a very basic system. If my sword part touched another player, then it would damage them. But now I'm using something called a raycast. A raycast sends rays in a direction, and if they touch something, they return the item they've hit. It's kind of like echolocation. Did that sound like a dolphin? That was pretty good, right, guys? Guys, stop. I'm nervous. I'm bad at everything, right? Right, guys? Right, shots? You guys might have forgotten, but we were talking about raycast hitboxes, okay? And how they're like echolocation. Now, it sounds complex, but I can't actually tell you if it is or isn't, because someone created an open source project for this system. So I just inserted it into the game, and after some testing, I had a working raycast hitbox. And in the wise words of Danny,
Hippity hoppity, your code is now my property.
the final problem I worked on this month was a problem I ran into last month with my animations. My sword didn't animate with the rig. So to fix this, I had to add a Motor 6D to the player to fix it. And unfortunately, because of that, I had to reanimate my sword animations. So that sucks a lot. But I was able to improve the animations a little, so for whatever that's worth, it's not worth anything. It sucked. It sucked. The goal for this upcoming month, however, is finishing the animations for the dagger and katana, because that would be cool and make me feel better about myself, because I haven't done much. Alright, it's time for the philosophical part of the video. What does philosophical even mean? Have you seen the mistake I keep making? It's planning out things. A great example of this is my inventory system. I started creating this really detailed UI and realized that it wouldn't fit my game well, so all of my progress had to be scrapped. And then the other problem is that when I take the time to plan, I realize that I can't plan properly because there are things that I just don't know about. Similar to how when I started creating my combat system months ago, I didn't even know what a raycast hitbox was, so I couldn't plan on implementing that later on. So in summary, I'm struggling with not planning things that I know and not being able to plan what I don't know. And if you're waiting for me to have some sudden realization about how to fix this, you're gonna be waiting a while, because I have not found it, buddy. And that's okay, because sometimes answers don't just come to you. And even if they do, you can't implement them immediately. You sometimes just have to take time to learn how to fix the problem. Did I do it? Did I philosophize? At the time of recording this, it's April 14th. So only about a month and a week left in the school year for me. And it's an understatement to say that I'm excited for it to be over. Cause I'm overjoyed. I'm overflowing. Can't you tell in my voice? On a more real note, I really appreciate all the support we've been getting on these videos. I know 200 views and whatever doesn't seem like a lot, but it's cool because eventually it'll be bigger, and I don't really mind waiting. I'll get better at making videos. It'll be fun. So yeah, I feel like I keep growing with each video.